can't drink the water in Flint, Michigan. I'll just tell this quick story. I was invited to go to the United Nations General Assembly to listen to the speech by Pope Francis to the world. Our ambassador asked if I would sit with her. And in the first few minutes of his speech, he was describing what he thought was an essential element of a civil society on the planet. And of course, he was talking about the wealthy nations and their obligations to assist developing countries. And the first principle that he referred to was the availability of safe drinking water. And my heart sank. This was in September. I'm sure he didn't know, but I sure knew that the Pope was not talking about a developing country in another part of the world. He did not know it, but he was actually talking about our own community.
However, here are some key differences between this historical perspective and our modern day experience that we're living. There was no state level power that was able to strip the authority of local government nor silence the voice of the people like we had here with the emergency manager. Also, data was not altered or changed like what has been said here in Flint. And third, the hands of the local sanitation and health and city officials were not tied through political rhetoric, environmental racism, and socioeconomic classism of a higher level government. And with that,
so these are just a couple of clips of the type of discussions that we were having. The first discussion, one of our senators was really talking about the devastation that the Flint water crisis has had across the country and how it's really being discussed, and talking about his engagement with the Pope. And the second clip, when I was talking about it, I actually did a parallel for all of you all. How many public health degree people we have in here? So I was comparing the Flint water crisis to the cholera crisis with John Snow. And I was making that parallel and that correlation. And so to really lay the foundation that contaminated water is not something that's new, but in this day and age, it should never happen, especially in the United States of America. So as we begin to talk about it, we want to really talk real, turn to neighbors and neighbor, keep it real. I know I'm not in church, but just tell them, say, neighbor, let's keep it real. We want to have real dialogue. We want to have real conversation, because we're going to talk about the real underlying issues that allow something like this happen. We have to talk about environmental racism. We have to talk about social classism, economic classism. These are some of the things that have happened, and in order to have a true understanding of what has happened, and these slides are going to just rotate, because we're going to have the dialogue. But it was imperative for us to do this because most of the narrative that people across the country were seeing was not really the real story of what was going on in Flint. What you saw on Time magazine and what you saw on